What's up, everybody, and welcome back into the Play the Fight Song College Football Show. Another great episode tonight. It's kind of a fun one. We got to talk a little bit of some recent news in college football. There is some in there. The Pac-12 comes to decisions. We got ETN news that we got to talk about, but we're excited to have all the boys in the studio. And speaking of ETN, we're not going to have anybody driving while we're recording tonight, so that's a plus for the boys. But the boys are all here. Let's talk to him. Let's go down to Rease first. He's on the hot seat again tonight with a little bit of college football logos. 5 questions tonight, so we cut them in half. But are you ready to go?
I'm ready to go. Here we go.
No.
Oh my god! off the rip. Not
what?
even
Calm
like
down, dude. Just wait.
no
It's gonna stick
prep,
around.
nothing,
What's up,
just
brother?
Right into it.
Here we go. Shake. Gonna stick around. Yeah, no, I'm excited. Not tonight, but I've tried to look up like those random conferences, like the MEAC, Big Sky, Southern, like just like random conferences that I don't know that you sickos know. So I'm doing a little research. I'm not a big knower of the logos or the team names, but I can at least like throw out a venture of a guess of some names, you know.
Well, you're looking in the right area. A little bit of preview, but you're looking in the right area for sure. I think we have all 5 of them are represented of the FCS tonight. But the point of tonight's episode came from Jake. Let's go to him. We are going to make our case against fall weddings. I think we all can add on to it, but Jake made a very nice presentation, which he is going to share with everyone. This is an argument that every football fan has, but Jake, are you ready to talk us through why they should be banned?
Yeah, I put a lot of thought into this. My degree is in ball knowing, so that's what I'm here for.
I know ball.
RIP to Office Becky, who cannot talk this week about a new logo that she learned because March Madness has been chalk. So that's good because you haven't been hearing a lot of talk from the casuals on the college basketball end this week,
Office
and
Becky.
I've very much enjoyed the NCAA tournament so far, unlike an unpopular opinion.
Well, I think maybe something to do with it is that your team is still in it, right, JP? Am I maybe wrong on that?
No,
JP's
JP would defend me. It doesn't matter that Iowa State's in it. If you
If
replaced
they would have
Iowa
gotten
State,
bounced first round, you would have been as happy.
well, no, I wouldn't have been as happy. But if you replaced Iowa State for said Kansas or another Power 5 team, top 10 team, I would have been just fine with it. We don't want St. Peter's in here. I don't need Office
That's
Becky
true.
knowing about St.
I forget.
Peter's.
You know,
A little bit
Talking
of a
about
Cinderella
St.
hater.
Peter's.
I like
Talking
it.
about
I mean, we do-
Oakland.
We have to like that St. Peter's team is the worst team to win 2 games in the tournament of all time. Like they were bad. Like that was
Oakland
a really
would've
bad
been-
basketball team.
Oakland would have been fighting for second had they won.
They ain't no
against NC
Cinderella.
State.
I think another
That was
cool
kind of
storyline
good
with college basketball Cinderellas is not only did you have that kid from Oakland drain all those threes, big story, but then he gains NIL deals and collects like a huge paycheck of simply one game.
He won the first game. They bounced Kentucky. All right. Jack Golke got his NIL deal. All right. We don't need to see him anymore in the tournament. Get him out.
Didn't
DJ
that kid from
Burns is my
St. Peter's
Cinderella.
get the same deal
one shining
from
moment,
B-Dubs?
he's gonna be
Yeah.
out, man.
Doug Eater.
The
He did.
Doug, yeah. Didn't he get in a fight the next year too? Like
Yeah,
somebody
he sucked. He transferred to Bryant. They sucked. And I don't even know if he's still there or not, or if he's done. playing
Knower
ball.
of truth, Jacob Schaefer.
As a kid who's been hit directly by a Cinderella run in the March
I think we've
Madness
all been
realm,
hit.
Yeah, probably.
I mean,
Twice.
I don't know if I see the Iowa and Iowa State Cinderella hits as much as I see the clips of Florida Gulf Coast. Rightfully
No,
so. It's a
you-
good show.
Jay,
but-
Yeah,
Jake,
you don't
let me
see him
guess.
as much.
Shafe, let me guess.
Iowa State was the first 2 seed to ever lose to a 15.
Yeah, but it's getting to the
Thanks
point
for
where
opening
that's
the door.
not that's not on the normal runs. The Iowa loss to Northwestern State's not always on the runs that they always show. Right? They always show
Shafe,
the
is this
last
through
10
the
years
highest seed?
ish.
You guys 3.
What'd
And
you
you
say?
lost to UAB. Is this,
Hell of a
is this where you
cutout.
see the highest you've been in a
We were
seed since
3.
like number 3? Yeah, when
We
you
were
lost to
3
UAB.
seed. Yeah, that year we were 3 seed.
That was it. Okay, that's what I thought it was.
Yeah.
So,
I was
That
making
was
some money.
that was Jake said the best Iowa State team and the best chance they had.
That
at
was
a
the
national
George
title
Niang team,
as
wasn't
he
it?
sits in a Sweet 16.
As of right now, I think the path for them was easier than facing God and UConn right now. I
And
mean, I don't
UConn.
think anybody's touching them right now, especially when they're playing in Boston.
Yeah, I have UConn going all the way. So good start for the the boys Hurley squad. But all right, let's flip it to college football. Let's go into some recent news. We're going to lead it off with the Pac-12. They finally come to decisions on where to split these monies, the penalties for the schools that left. Looking into it, Oregon State and Washington State finalized this settlement. The 10 schools departing will be withheld $5 million during the 2024 fiscal year, and each will also pay $1.5 million that will go towards these two teams trying to navigate uncharted waters and figure out what they're going to do. And then as for what these two teams will do this year, they're both alliance with the Mountain West Conference, and they'll play a Mountain West schedule-esque without being fully a part of the conference. And then both will join the Big West. Both of these teams will join the Big West in every other sport besides football and baseball.
Is it the West Coast?
It's West Coast Conference, not the Big West. West Coast Conference.
WCC.
Oh,
WCC.
So my question
yeah, you're right, because I
is-
was thinking baseball, but Big West, not the Big West. I wrote it down incorrectly. West Coast Conference. Go ahead.
Would the
Jake.
Big West be that bad for like Oregon State baseball? I
No,
mean,
no,
it's kind of
that would be the best
but,
fit
like,
ever. That's a
they're
wagon.
playing independent baseball for the next couple of years, but like West Coast Conference is not as like that's high end baseball still.
Very
Not
good.
to make baseball about it, but
I was gonna say, is the West Coast Conference a 3-bid basketball league now? St. Mary's and Gonzaga make it every year. Are you gonna throw one of these two teams in there? Washington
No.
State made it this year. I don't know.
But
But
they had a run
It's
years
a
ago.
wagon of a conference.
maybe you guys can defend the baseball side of things, but I mean, basketball and maybe a little bit of football, why wouldn't you just fully emerge into the Mountain West? Like basketball wise, they were a 6-bid league this year. It's a decent basketball conference. I think they would add some good value. As far as like financially, yes, they bring in more than the Mountain West schools do, but like, I mean, they're not recruiting like substantially better than those schools. So I think they're like trying to hold off, like they think they're above that conference, but I mean, really, are they much better off right now? Like, why wouldn't
Oregon
you just...
State kind of trending up until the whole, this
Yeah,
fell
until it
apart.
happened.
They were recruiting up there. It's like maybe they still view themselves as being up there. It's like what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like they built themselves up as that, and then obviously the debacle happened. But like they still view themselves as being higher because they did have that little run with their coach and bringing guys in for a while. I mean, they brought in DJU, who was like the former number one or how many cycles ago. Like they
And
did bring in a guy.
That's great. And I think Smith was more of like a developer of talent, but like look at Boise State. They brought in Malachi Nelson. He's a higher recruit than what DJU was. So I think now in the modern era of college football, I think you can bring in kind of those, I don't want to say bounce back guys, but you can bring in those guys who've played high end football into your school. I don't know. I don't think they're much better off than the Mountain West. And it's a little confusing of a move to me.
I think Oregon State is at the moment, but it's going to take a couple of years and they'll probably be even. I mean, you're definitely going to get less recruits playing competition like that. You're not going to have the spotlight on you, especially in the new age of college football. We're going to have all these big matchups all the time. But JP, what do you kind of think on these two teams fully joining the Mountain West of Jake's idea?
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily a bad idea, but I do think they do hold themselves to a higher standard, like we were kind of talking about. Like they're holding out hope that the ACC wants to continue to grow. Maybe the Big 12 wants to grow a little bit more. Like I think they have hope that realignment's not done and they can really, throw their foot in the door and try to work their way into a conference. But your problem now is that being kind of independent-ish. Like, do they want you over a Boise State? Do they want you over let's just say San Diego State, Colorado State, like start going through those Fresno States? Do they want you over that? Because they're kind of equal level right now. You have more money because of trying to stay within the Pac-12 and keep it together. But I think that name recognition, that brand awareness kind of thing is going to wear off, right? Like the Zaz of Oregon State, the Zaz of Wazoo might wear off in the coming years. So like I feel like they have a 5-year window where it's like, you have a chance to get into big conference or you're going to have to settle somewhere.
Yeah, I see it kind of both ways. I think they'll always have like maybe a slight advantage and maybe donors, maybe some of those will fall off, and facilities at the moment. Like I would think that Oregon State would have better facilities than most of the Mountain West members. But in the modern age of college football, there's not really many schools out there that don't have an indoor or a top tier weight room. So it's pretty balanced now. What do you got, Jake?
Let's say the Cover 3 podcast mentioned this today, and I thought it's a great point. Like don't they now have a better chance at a college football playoff berth than they did in the Pac-12 because they could get that group of 5 or whatever you want to call it spot? Like,
Yeah.
shouldn't they
Yeah.
clear cut be one of the best group of 5 teams in the country? Like, that's probably a better shot than trying to beat out like USC, Oregon, and Washington for that automatic bid, or Arizona.
And you
know?
would think the committee would be more favorable to a former Power 5 brand. Like if they're
Yeah.
going to say 12-0 Oregon State versus 12-0 Liberty, then you're probably going to take Oregon State just based off of
Good point.
they were in this league before.
And they
So-
still are going to play Oregon every year. So they're going to,
Yep.
I mean, at this point, so they're going to get a good test at least once a year.
And those are always good games. JP, you got any closing thoughts on this? I thought you were
I was
gonna
just
say
saying, like, your point is like, if they're going to have a better shot at it, right? They'd have a lot better shot if they didn't have a mass exodus of both programs. Like everybody left, right? This is not the same team we saw last year. They're not even building on the team they had last year. These are resets at both programs.
Yep, sure is. All right, let's go to the next point. And this is the next topic, I should say. It's not a great thing for the school, but Georgia transfer or Florida transfer to Georgia, Trevor Etienne arrested for 4 traffic-related misdemeanors. And obviously DUI being the biggest one. Reckless driving is on that list and failure to maintain his lane. And the last one was affixing materials that reduce visibility on his window tint. They tested it after they arrested him and went away. So 4 misdemeanors, I guess. But the big thing is, and why you're asking, why is the Clemson logo on there? Well, according to the Georgia handbook, the policy for their athletes is any arrest or a misdemeanor charge automatically is a game suspension, and they open up with Clemson. So you would expect that if he remains on the team, which he probably will not be playing against Clemson to open the year. So it's an unfortunate event. Apparently, the story read from the Georgia police that he abruptly stopped at a red light, making the tires screech. That's when he brought attention to himself. Officers then followed him and witnessed Etienne pass 2 cars at high speed, and the officer claimed that he was going 90 miles an hour and still couldn't catch up to him. And he denied field sobriety tests when he got out of the car. And then he claimed to have 3 beers earlier in the day, but he wouldn't do field sobriety, and he was booked, and his bond was set at $1,800 to get out that night. So unfortunate event, big blow for a big transfer. What do you take on this, JP?
I mean, other than like, don't drink and drive.
We don't
But
condone that. Yeah.
It
The one
sounds
thing
like
I
a
will
bunch
say-
of
Great
this sounds like a
message.
bunch of rookie moves from a guy who's
Great
probably
message.
should be a little more veteran. That's what I'm saying.
The one thing I will say is that people going after this, especially being a Bulldog now and like the Georgia program and the problems they've had in the last 2 years of this kind of stuff, like got kind of nasty. Like the kid made a massive mistake. Obviously, I think he knows that, but just like, I still don't think it's a reflection on the program and what the program is as a whole, but like rivals will take any opportunity to just tear you down and bring you down. So like, again, I don't think it's a representation of what Georgia is doing and Kirby Smart's doing, rather just some really poor decisions that I don't know. It was weird just seeing all that stuff on social media and how toxic it got fast without like anything on field. Guys didn't play the snap.
In a Georgia
Yeah.
uniform.
Yeah, and you also have to mention that the way he left Florida, which we just talked about a couple weeks ago, and kind of the things he had said where he has better opportunities at Georgia. No kidding, this fan base is going to jump all over this and be like, yeah, take him, enjoy him, like he made his mistake. But Jake, what do you think about this? He misses the Clemson game. Is that going to matter for Georgia?
I was going to say, I don't even think it moves the line even a point, to be completely honest with you. But JP says it's not a reflection on like the culture of Georgia. I would argue that it doesn't. I would argue that he's wrong. I mean, if this happened, anywhere else, maybe no, it doesn't reflect the culture of where it's at. But like, this has got to be the 4th or 5th incident of like reckless driving, and I know he just got there, so it's just kind of ironic. It's kind of a shitty situation, but at the same time, like, this is now instance number whatever at the University of Georgia. Like, this is a clear problem, and I'm surprised some big college football talking heads have not like brought this up, because there's a couple of podcasts like I know that usually do talk about like the reckless driving issues at Georgia, and then they just kind of slid this one under the rug. Like, nobody really brought it up. Just kind of weird to me.
Well, it's different than the last situation they had, right? Where obviously people lost their lives, and so it's maybe like not as big.
Well,
of a deal to
that was
bring
the first one. That was didn't another kid get booked for just reckless driving in general?
up. Racing, I believe. It was
Yeah,
street
like
racing.
drag racing. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's still the
Oh, I don't
same
really know.
thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I mean,
what do you-
Nebraska had a
DUI,
Georgia
you know.
transfer happen, do the same thing, kind of getting
If
some
I had to
trouble,
rank
so.
my jerk moves on the road, I'd put DUI above street racing. That's just me. But at the same time, like, I don't
What
know.
about at the same time?
Say, how about 1A, 1B?
I say, at the same time, going 90 mile an hour. I don't care if you're completely sober or
The cop
drunk.
was going
It's gonna
90
be-
and said he couldn't catch him, so probably
Yeah.
faster than that.
It's got to be hard to control the steering wheel at 90 miles an hour.
Yeah.
We're also missing the simple solution. We're missing the simple solution. He needs to call his quarterback, who just got a $270,000 car with that deal he signed, the Porsche Cayenne or whatever it is. He can pick you up, buddy. Just call him. He's got a $270,000 car.
Yeah, and you only need 2 seats in
Oh,
that thing to get home.
Yep.
I was
safely,
going to
so.
go with better friends that don't let you do dumb shit like this. I thought that's what you
Yeah.
were going to say. It's like easy solution. Better friends don't do dumb shit.
He hasn't made a
Yep.
ton of friends at Georgia yet. He's
Maybe?
new. He's still there. He's still new there.
Yeah, and the initial admitting to you had 3 beers earlier, but then denying the field sobriety, which most people will tell you to do that. I'm not going to get into the moral background of maybe why he said to do that. It just kind of adds up to, there's a lot going wrong here and how fast he was going.
I love how
Wrong
it was like
decisions,
4
man.
misdemeanors. They all are just piggybacking off each other. Like
Yeah.
OWI.
It gets worse.
Swerving
It gets
lane.
worse.
Yeah.
Just keeps
all
getting worse.
misdemeanors.
Yep. They are all misdemeanors. And that last one, you imagine getting arrested and you're on these charges, or maybe they don't tell you right away, but then you get back and they're also, oh, by the way, your window tint was too dark. Throw that one on there. Like
Yeah,
they
it's just
tested it after he had left. So
Insane.
unfortunate event for Trevor Etienne, most likely to miss the Clemson game, but we'll update you on that as we learn more. All right, next point. Let's go to a little bit brighter news, and that is the conference schedule in the SEC. JP had put this in our notes. I'll let him take you through it. It looks like they are keeping the 8 conference game, but JP, give us the details.
You bet. Yeah, the SEC decided they're going to stick with an 8 game conference schedule in 2025. Yet to be decided after that. This is what the SEC has been doing. The talks kind of started when they added Oklahoma and Texas. I know that the Big Ten plays 9, I believe. I lost my page here that had
Big
all the
12
notes on
plays 9.
Big 12. Big 12
Big
plays
12
9
and
this year.
ACC plays 8.
Yeah. So, and the SEC now. So it's kind of 2 and 2. But the problem everybody was like thinking is, usually November rolls around and Middle Tennessee or Samford or one of these schools runs into Death Valley to play LSU, and they're like, well, why are we playing this FCS game in the middle of November? And that's kind of what got everybody fired up, is like, put the 9th one on there, avoid that. Better product for the fans. This is like the one thing that a college football conference or commissioner has done to not grab more money, right?
Mhm.
Like, they're staying with 8. They could play 9 and your numbers would skyrocket. But this is the one thing they've kind of settled on, is 8. I think they're looking at it after the 25 season and will reassess it. I kind of like the 9. The one thing I don't love about the 9 is that your ability to schedule a Power 5 conference opponent, it gets a little tougher. Like Iowa State play each other. That gives you 10 power conference games, 2 non-power conference games. That's usually the balance that everybody's looking for. It's either 10 power games, 2 non-power games. The SEC has the chance to schedule out of conference, right? Like say Texas and Alabama last year. Those guys, they weren't in the same conference. They weren't rivals, but your ability to go do that. Arkansas played Texas one year. LSU has played Wisconsin before. Like, there just kind of goes down the list that gives them ability to do that. But I'm not against it per se, but I do think it kind of makes sense for the conference right now. Like, just like, let's see how it goes, how everything settles in. Because your schedule is going to be plenty hard enough, whether it's 8 or 9. Like, it can only get drastically tougher for these schools.
Yeah.
And I think not that would keep them out of the 12-team playoff, but it is something to really pay attention to if you are Sankey and these coaches, right? Like, if you're switching out Samford for, let's just go the Swamp in November, it's a little bit different. It's a different preparation period. It's a different way you have to go through the week. It's a different way, depending on where your bye week is, that you have to handle months and practice each week. So it completely flips the way they've been doing things. And so maybe it does give them a little more time to talk about it. But that's kind of where I am at. I'm not against it. I'm not really for it. It's just kind of in the middle for me.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I took away from it. As I thought more about the new SEC, these 18 teams that are in there, really the only feeling of a bye or an easier conference game you get in here is Vanderbilt off the top of my mind. Like we can say Mississippi State, they have so many question marks, a new coach, all that good stuff. But we've also are living in a lifetime where we've seen Mississippi State being ranked number 1 in the country with Dak Prescott. So it's a team that could be back. Really, Vanderbilt's the only one that's been falling off the last however
Forever.
long. Yeah, and they did start that year 4-0. Remember where Jalen Hurts is at Alabama, and then they had that quote that the kid was like, "We play SEC ball in Vanderbilt," and then
It'd be
I
by
think
60.
Bama beat him by
Just had to
60.
say something, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, he built the hype.
I just want to know what was really going through his head in that moment. Like, did he was coming off a high.
thrill of a
I
victory.
don't remember
Well,
who
he
they
was
beat. They probably
killing
beat
it.
like
Hawaii.
Hawaii.
Northwestern.
And they're like, you know what? Bring them
On the
Bring
road.
Alabama.
Yeah.
We're gonna show you how
Yeah.
to play football.
He was ready to go. I also saw the clip resurface today of USC when they were crawling out of the end zones in that opening game against
Oh yeah.
whomever they were playing. I think it was Bama
It wasn't
again.
Bama. It was Bama.
Yeah, it's Bama again. They're attitude ruiners, and then they got beat like 52-6. So tough news and good news for Bama, I guess. But Jake, what do you kind of take on 8 conference games versus the 9 in the Big 12?
I mean, for the Big 12, I don't think it matters. I'm fine with the Big 12 playing 9. I think that honestly,
I think the Big
especially-
12 needs 9.
Yeah, I
now,
think that
especially.
they need to prove that they are. You need another conference game to prove your legitimacy in that 12-team playoff. But really, what is it? What is it? Are you going to make LSU? They already have to play Texas and Georgia. Are you really going to make them add, Oklahoma, or
South Carolina.
They play Texas, Georgia, Alabama. I'm just
Ole
listing
Miss.
these off, but they put them all in a year. If they go undefeated, isn't that proven enough? Like, what's another conference game going to do? And is the big gripe, is the whole gripe about this? I think it just comes from the outsiders of the conference that have the issue with McNeese State in November. Okay, can't we just make it's probably a little confusing, but can't we just make a rule that if you're going to play an FCS school, it can't be done after the second weekend in October? Like if we were doing these 4 games, if you played your 4 non-conference games before, that the second week in October, I don't think people would have, because it's recency bias. Like we get towards the end of the playoff selection and LSU's playing Georgia State. That's everybody's gripe, I feel like. So if you're going to play an out-of-conference game at the end of the year, it better be a rivalry game. But, if you play McNeese State first game of the year, like Iowa State does, Iowa does, whatever that may be, nobody ever brings that up in December when it gets down to the nitty gritty. So I think that's everybody's gripe. Just change that rule.
And if we want to stay on the tune of we support the smaller programs, right? Like, can you imagine being a coach of an FCS school that is going through a rigorous, Missouri Valley, for example, like one of the better conferences within FCS football, and you got your sandwich between UNI and South Dakota State, and let's just say you're South Dakota. And then, by the way, South Dakota, you have to go in November in between those weeks, 2 rivalry games, and go play Missouri on the road. Like I can't imagine the FCS coaches love that. Like just to get your roster that beaten up there, and it's tough to prep for it. You're just trying to get your money and get out of town because usually you see your upsets earlier in the year. They're not happening in November. Like teams get scared and play slow a little bit. It is late in the year, but it's way different in the situation where it's in November. You're not going to see the upsets. It's just collect your check, get your guys rested, and get on the road.
Yeah, and that's kind of the general gist of everything is, there's going to be so many more tough matchups with all of these conferences, and the ACC maybe is the only debate there. But the Big Ten stacked now too. So even 9 conference games in that, you brought in 4 great opponents. I mean, it's not as good as adding Texas and Oklahoma, but I mean, Washington, Oregon's really Big Ten ready, but Washington, UCLA is a little questionable. USC is supposed to have a good year, killing it on the recruiting trail, which should have been our recent news. But
I will say that I think the ACC, I'll even give them a pass because it seems like at least at the top, they do try to schedule, an SEC school in their out of conference. At least recently that comes to my head. Like we just brought up, Georgia's going to try and play Clemson. Clemson, we know, already plays South Carolina at the end of the year. Florida State had a home or a neutral site with LSU for 2 years in a row. So I just don't have a big gripe.
They work hand in hand, though, I think, SEC and ACC, because they have so many rivalries. Like you have North Carolina, South Carolina, you have Florida, Florida State, you have Clemson, South Carolina. So they kind of work hand in hand where you allow 8 to happen so you can have your cross-conference games and still keep those rivalries, which I think are a big part of the fan bases too.
They sure are. All right, let's go to the last point of recent news, and we got to mix in our college football 25 talk every week. So much hype around this game. Jake and I have been cooking up some covers for the game the last couple of days. So
You've
check
been
them out
cooking
on.
up the covers. I'm just posting it.
Yeah, but you make the video. That's I mean
Yeah,
the
try
covers are
my
nothing without
best.
the video.
All right, quit playing tummy sticks. We all do
Yeah.
it. Okay.
Check it out on
Tummy
TikTok,
sticks.
Play the Fight
I
Song.
want to play.
Yeah, check it out on TikTok at Play the Fight Song. They're pretty cool videos. They're on our YouTube. They're on our shorts. So check them out. Last couple of days have been fun.
Put me on the
All
cover.
right, the news here: crossplay. It's reported to be in the game, not official yet. The quote from Matt Brown, who's been all over the EA Sports College Football 25 news the entire time. Give him a follow. His tweet said, "I think crossplay is probable, but until I hear it directly from a developer, I will not say it is for certain." So it should happen. I think it's very important to happen, especially me being the owner of a PlayStation 5, hoping that my friends piggyback and buy the
Nope,
$500
I'm getting the
device.
Xbox
instead
S
of the
Xbox,
for
buddy,
$200.
sorry.
saving $250. So it's very important for me to be a part of the online dynasty or
just
make
don't wanna be
another
left out.
$200 investment.
Oh,
So,
who would want to be left out? Like, come
yeah,
on.
I'm not
In
going
this
to be left
situation?
out. I'll just buy the $200 device too. It ain't no sweat off my back. So,
Fortnite has been such an influence that every game has to have crossplay from here on out. If the game doesn't have crossplay, it's a waste.
yeah,
Well,
the
like-
technology's there. Why
How
not?
do you not?
Right?
Technology's there.
Isn't Madden crossplay?
I
play
don't
Madden
know.
enough. I don't have an answer to
I
that.
think I saw something that's not, and this would be like the first sports game. I don't know if FIFA is or anything like that. So somebody could probably fact check us on this, but I don't know if it is. But I would think so, right? Like if I can, I just don't know how they do the friend stuff. Like we talked about during our College Football 25 episode.
you would have
we
to
don't
be
know, like on a
like-
Discord.
Yeah,
Or
Didn't
EA
Call of
Sports
Duty?
friends?
Call of
Discord.
Duty has like Activision accounts that you make. So like, because they made the game, so you guys have, there's like maybe there's like an EA Sport you can make, and like that's how you be friends and shit.
That's what I was gonna say, Reese. Is maybe it's
Like
an EA
that.
Sports account within your account of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have to be something like that, and we need it.
No.
That would be very, very helpful and save me $200. So please work harder, the team at EA. Again,
And
another
I don't
investment.
have to stress which console I'm going to get. Like I don't have to worry about that. I can just pick either one, whatever one works for me. The whole thing with this is like I've never understood how you could have a Call of Duty game where it's cross-platform across console, computer, PlayStation, Xbox, all that stuff. And then a sports game is the one that gives you troubles, right? Like that doesn't make any sense to me. I feel like it'd be way easier. It's probably the interface on the backside, like Reese was talking about, having an EA Sports account to have friends.
They brought
on,
the show to
right?
Xbox. They can make this game crossplay.
And and the show is cross-platform. So I could play people on Xbox, I could play people on PlayStation.
Yep, and that's kind of the main point we want to talk about tonight in College Football 25. Hopefully, we get some more news coming soon.
What
But
about
there's
what about the leaked video or the leaked picture
of Missouri. I've heard I heard a few things on this to where the name they use for it, I can't remember it off the top of my head. It's basically like a precursor to maybe what it would look like. Like the graphics could be updated, whatever version that was. So there was a lot of developer nerds. I still love you, but that's
It
what
said
you are.
like
You're a nerd,
pre-alpha
so we
on the
appreciate
image.
you.
Yeah, pre-alpha, which
way
apparently
early.
means like base outline. But there's the renderings. They look
Great
great.
graphics, Schaefer.
Yeah, we really zoomed it in. Everybody's going like this right now. But check it out. It's on our Twitter page at Play the Fight
That's my
Pod.
dog.
But that's the next point anyway. It's the end of recent news. So make sure you stop, hit the subscribe button if you're on YouTube. If you haven't subscribed yet, it takes you 2 seconds. It's right in the corner. There's a little logo down there in the corner. Just hit it. It's perfectly fine. And then you're all of a sudden you're subscribed. You get updates for our videos. You can see clips of our videos if you only want to watch certain parts. And then follow the other platforms at Play the Fight Pod on every single one: Facebook, Instagram, X, except for TikTok. That would be Play the Fight
Like, comment,
song fully written out. So like, comment, subscribe. That's absolutely right. But we are finally here. We are going to the most important part
Shit,
and
this water.
the highlight
How excited are
on
you guys?
Jake's presentation of why we need our Saturdays. Give people time, get in here, get your notepads out, get your
Yep.
pens. You got to write these notes down because this is an argument every college football fan has. Reese, what do you got?
Rick, if you're watching, this is the part where you need to lock in because last fall, I mean, granted, I loved that I was
Does
at
Rick-
your wedding,
does
but
he have
week
issues?
7,
Oh.
week 7, this happened. Texas, Oklahoma, this happened.
Whoa, Rick, you can see him on our videos on the Iowa Fan Perspective. JP just did a video with him on Proctor. We
That's
a
still love
little
you,
shot at him.
It's
A
disgusting.
little shot
work.
at him.
Still love you, Rick.
Disgusting work.
I'll say it to the public. I'm being married August 3rd this year, and that was my only stipulation on the date.
Yeah,
It's
somebody
gotta be
asked me,
football.
they're like, is Parks getting married in the fall? I go, it's in August, doesn't count. Hey,
Ain't
it
no way
doesn't
he's
count.
letting that happen.
Yeah, no shot. Absolutely no shot. And I'm a part of a state. We always talk about how the Midwest is so much more into college football than I think everybody realizes. But like, if I had a wedding in Nebraska and invited people from the state on a day of a game, I would fully expect for at
Home
least
game,
half
nonetheless.
to, yeah, for at least
Home game's
half of them
criminal.
to say no. Like, I'm a person who sadly has missed weddings in spite of going to a football
Do you
game.
realize
It is
Rutgers
what it
coming to
is.
town? I'm not coming to your wedding.
Yeah, I've never ever cheered for your wedding. I've never once done it. I promise you. And that might be a part of the presentation, but I'll hand it over to Jake. Take us through it, Jake.
First of all, can I make a disclosure that so I think the last time we involved our significant others into the podcast,
Your SOs.
I got some repercussions from it because somebody was spilling the beans. So
Whoa.
I don't know if somebody's watching on Facebook right now. You know who you are. Your boyfriend's laughing in the corner over there. I asked that we keep things quiet unless my significant other just wants to hear the truth. So
Are we talking about back in the event day where she had an
Yeah,
event for
yep.
work and you
Yep.
why didn't you just take a poop? I told you to go take a poop.
You let the
And
cat out of the bag anyways. She heard
Yeah.
it all, so she knew if I was like, I gotta go take a dump. She knows where
this
I'm
is
going.
sacred. This is
Yeah.
sacred. No sharing from significant others. All right, Jake. Jake,
Hey.
take us through it, baby.
Okay. First of all, this is exactly what I took 2 public speaking courses in college for this moment, right? This is on a
Jake, hold.
Hold on.
You're just cracking a lot.
Before you start this,
Sorry.
we need the internet to pick it up because people are here to take
I don't know
notes.
if it's your like headphone
I think
cord.
it's
Like
the headphones sometimes because I think
Okay.
does that sound all
So
right?
stop moving so
Sounds
much.
gold now.
yeah, so
And I
stop
won't-
moving. You
and I
Jerry
won't
shit.
try to
People are this is
talk so
important,
loud.
man. This
All
is
right.
important. All right, take us through it.
Let's move along to why we need our Saturdays. The case against fall weddings and events brought to you by the boys at Play the Fight Song. We're going to all take credit for this, not just me. So let's move it forward. Point number 1, why you shouldn't have a fall wedding in general. There are numerous reasons. I had to keep it at about 6. I could have probably made 1,000. Number 1,
You
It's
actually did 5, Jake. That last point is mine. Sorry, I added. I'll go
Okay.
at the end.
I'll pitch it to you. Yeah, absolutely. There's always a chance it could be cold. Okay. You don't want to be standing outside watching somebody say their stupid vows. No, I want to be standing outside in football weather with 10 fireball shooters in me, screaming on my defense to get a stop on 3rd down. That's point number 1. We don't need to be out there in the middle of the wedding. Sorry. Number 2, not everybody's going to be paying attention. Sorry, Karen. We love you. I love you as a second cousin. I'm glad to be here. If it was another day but the fall. But the fact of the matter is, I'm probably going to be watching the game on my phone, and so will everybody else. Texas and Oklahoma. Are you kidding me? I would have never left my screen. I would have I'm sorry, Rick.
There was a guy sitting next to me who I had it up on my phone. I looked over at him and he had it up too. I was like, hey, what's up, dude? Little moment right
Nice.
See, now he doesn't remember your best man speech, Rick, because Rease was watching the game on his phone. This is what happens. This is exactly what happens. Do your gifts suck? It's probably because your friends are mad at you. So don't be mad that you didn't receive as much gifts or as much money as probably people would be maybe in spring. Tax season's coming around. People are getting their refunds,
Ooh.
feeling generous. Summertime, everybody's nice and happy because it's the summertime in the Midwest. I'm feeling generous. No, you're keeping them from another fall Saturday. Fuck you. You're getting $10. Number
Wait,
4.
I have something nice.
This is for the bride itself. Again, honey, it's your day. We love you. But your groom is probably wondering what the hell is going on in the middle of the 3rd quarter because we're only a game back from the Big 12 standings, and we really got to beat the shit out of Kansas today, or we're going to be screwed for the rest of the season. So you might think that he's looking at you thinking, we can't wait to spend the rest of our lives together. No, honey, he needs to know if they got a 3rd down stop. That's exactly what's going on in his head. I'm sorry. You want it to be your day? Let's do it in June when nobody cares about baseball. Sorry, fellas. Last but not least, from my point, I think the rustic theme's a little outdated. I'm sorry. Everybody wants to go take these fancy pictures next to these old cars in their neutral brown colored suits. I'm over it. It's been overdone. I don't need to see it again. Let's wait another 10 years until we bring that back. I want to throw number 6 to you, Camden. What do we got?
Yeah, I had to really sit down, and a thing that me and my significant other do all the time, also a woman, shout out her. I try and make her understand when it comes to sports and why I get so mad when Nebraska loses, which is quite often in my time frame. I try and put her shoes on, like put her in my shoes. Like, let's say, and this goes for most of the women out there, let's say Target was only open in the fall on Saturday from 11 to 7, but you have a wedding scheduled from 2 p.m. till 12 p.m. and you can't go beforehand because you got to get ready to go. You got to be there for pictures. You got to pick out a gift, but it can't be from Target that's barely open because you can't spend time there. You take too much time doing it. Imagine that. Would you really want to miss a Target day where if it was only open for one day, you couldn't shop online either because it was disrespectful? If you're at the wedding and you're looking at your phone the whole time, it's disrespectful, just like watching a game. You really wouldn't stand up for fall weddings if that was only open one day. And that can go for any woman out there that enjoys Target. But whatever you enjoy, imagine if it was only available for 12 weeks on a specific day your team was playing. I mean, it's just, it doesn't add up and it doesn't make sense. Before we go to slide 2, Jake, are we opening up for Rease and JP to add in on this? What do you think?
I just want to say amen, brother. That's a great point. We're going to capitalize off that in the next slide. Am I good on like my mic so far? We good?
You sound
You-
fantastic.
You've been good. Yep.
All right.
Killing
Yeah,
it.
you guys,
Write these down.
you guys can chime in.
Get a
Reese,
notebook out, kids.
I don't. Okay, Reese, are you writing this stuff down? Because I don't want to bring
It's
your
all up
personal
here.
life. I
It's
don't
all
want to
up
bring your
here. I
personal
knew
life
this.
into
I
this.
knew
But
this.
these are new notes. These are new notes you need to incorporate.
This argument's coming too.
Standard.
As of the last year, I was understanding at least 4 of these. The wondering why your gifts suck. That's a good one. If you get a good gift, it's probably because your girlfriend or a girl bought you that gift because they're not upset. So that's the point.
This
I will
actually
say-
happened. This actually happened. We were gonna JP Reese and I were going to split a $5 gift card.
Yeah, we
to a
were.
wedding in the fall because we had just booked a trip to we had
Slip
just
it
got
in
back
everybody's
from a football
pocket.
trip.
Want to buy the wife something nice.
Yep,
I-
slip it in.
I was going to say too, side note, Parks, I think I'm very optimistic about you and Tori's chances. I've just thought she's lived through the worst of Nebraska. So she's lived through your worst days. I think it's only up from here.
Yeah.
Might
It
be.
took her about
Knock on
3
wood.
years to learn. I need my 30 minutes of just complete silence. I'll leave. You don't talk to me. And then after that, like if the highlights come on, turn the channel, something like that. But you really got to, these are learned traits and she's done great. And I don't want her to sound like a dog, but she's very
Proud
good.
of you, Tori.
Very appreciated. Yeah.
She gets whatever she wants to eat that night if she gives me that 30 minutes.
I have, that's one thing I've really improved on
Give
this
it a
year is not letting the losses like affect other people. Just don't bring up the game to me. And usually
Man
I
up.
can think about something else. If you don't talk about just don't bring it up. If you don't
Well, that might
ask
have
me,
to be a presentation too on how to deal with
I
loss.
have
I am in there.
got to get better at that.
Yep.
Hand up.
One of the best.
Hand
One of
up.
the best.
I've heard
moments of
Jordan
13-23
needs a lot of work at that one.
Dude, one of the
All
best
right.
moments of 13-23 is when they get beat by Penn State and JP and Caspi just crumble on the couch. Just
Yeah, you kind of have to do that. If your team loses an important game, like especially when it's a night game like that, you wait all day for it, they shit the bed, then it's just like you built up so much hype and then they completely ruin the night through and through. Jake, take us through slide 2.
Yeah, absolutely. So, talking about why you shouldn't have a fall wedding. So, if you decide to go through it, that's on you. But here's why I don't have to go to your fall wedding. Again, there could be 100 reasons. I'm just giving you 4 basic ones. Number 1, Parks, you came up with this one. I got to give credit to you. Listen, honey, sweetie, I probably haven't known you for as long as I've known the Cyclones. It's just
Absolutely not.
It's straight fact. Listen, you weren't with me during the Gene Chizik era. You didn't go through those hard times with me. I'm sorry. We just don't have that bondage together. I just don't care.
I haven't been rooting for you for half a century.
Yeah.
Only the Cyclones. All right, go ahead.
You mentioned this before. We get 12 weekends out of the year. And while I agree, yes, it is very, very criminal if you are hosting a wedding during a home game. You only get 6 of those a year. 6 Saturdays to be in a stadium, to hang out with your friends, whatever you want to do. 6 out of 52. You do the math. That's not very much. If you're choosing it,
Great math.
one of
Great
those,
math.
if you're choosing one of those 6, jail time. absolute jail time for you. That's the most inconsiderate thing I've ever heard. We're going to get to this later, but guess what? The schedule comes out in January. When you're planning a year ahead, you know when that weekend's coming out. Number 3, this is my passion. This kind of bounces off of your thing, Parks, you talked about before with the Target comp. That was perfect. I've never heard that before. But what if I planned a wedding on the night of the Bachelor finale or the night of your pickleball championship? You probably won't want to be there, will you? I guess.
What friends
guess
do you
what?
have that pickleball's their passion?
That's just that new thing that everybody's getting
Some
into.
nerd.
It's really annoying.
I was gonna say, like, some people are bookworms, some people love
Yeah,
Legos, some people
whatever
love
it may
movies,
be.
some people love Star Wars, some people love crocheting. Like, everybody's got a passion.
Listen,
just
if
happens to be
you're
a-
with the girl that loves Legos, don't worry about the fall weddings. Just leave
I'm
anyway.
I'm just saying, dudes who get Legos don't catch a lot of flack, but we do.
If imagine this, Parks. Imagine the Bachelor finale being Saturday night, the night of a wedding. What are you going to do? Are you going to try and record it and just hope you don't hear, oh, look, so-and-so won the Bachelor? You're going to hear these things. You're going to want to watch it. Your mind's going to be on it. Oh, I can wait till Monday. You're going to know who won by then. It's not going to be as far.
It's gonna be all over. It's gonna be all over the place.
You are
Social
talking to
media,
a guy
every
who does
platform.
watch The Bachelor, though.
Yeah,
Yep.
you got to stop that.
Is actually wait, no, I don't. That finale
Pardon
was
me?
2 days ago. That finale was 2 days ago. This is crazy. You brought this up. That finale was 2 days ago. We were sitting on the couch about to start it. We started watching it an hour after it was airing, but we didn't look at Twitter, Facebook, nothing, because we knew people would be talking about it. In comes the text from my sister about who
Boom.
wins.
Not the family text. It's always the family text.
I called her. I said, what the fuck's the matter with you? Did you just text me the winner? And she's like, I thought you were watching it live. Who watches it live? I want to sit through the commercials? No. But that actually happened. Great point, Jake.
Last but not least, statistically in America, we already know what your odds of making it are. And not to scare you fellas, but you got a quarters flip chance
Scare
of,
yourself.
of keeping that marriage going throughout your entire life. Hope, love, and prosper. I hope it works out for you. I'm praying for you guys. You guys are my best friends. I'm pulling for you. But statistically, this will not be your last wedding. So
This
if you're
is
inviting
rough.
me to your second
I did
wedding,
not see this one on the
I
original
definitely-
slideshow.
I don't have to go. If you're inviting me on a fall Saturday to your second wedding, that's jail time.
I think
Absolute
it's
jail
safe
time.
to say. I think it's safe to say I'll catch the next one, man. I mean, the odds are in your face. I'll catch the next one.
That's
You must
true.
be jumping into this one, huh?
It's actually what I told my sister. Granted, Nebraska game got moved to Friday, so she dodged the bullet. But I told her, I was like, I'll catch the next one.
Hey, the stats back themselves up. So that's exactly why I don't have to go to your fall wedding. Let's move on to the next one. We might be going a little overtime here, but that's all right. We like hanging out. I
Hit
think
it.
everybody taking good notes. Okay. Let's talk about the epidemic of shaming fall Saturday. So fellas, you skip out on this wedding. Can you imagine the peer pressure that's going to come with it? That is what us men at this age are dealing with every single fall. It's absolutely brutal. Guess what? Football doesn't start to 11 or later. And this is going beyond fall weddings now. Honey, if you want to do something in the morning, guess what? I'm sure the farmer's market's open from 8 to 9. I'm sure you can make me go run an errand from 9 to 10. But football starts at 11. If the Cyclones have a 2:30 kickoff, maybe you might have a little bit of an extra window. It depends if Ohio State and Michigan's kicking off at 11, then you're screwed. But if it's a lighter window at 11, I'll let you slide if the Cyclones are playing at 2:30 or 7 o'clock. So please plan ahead of time. Everybody plans their schedule a week in advance. Let's be considerate of others. Again, this is our passion. We don't just start a damn podcast and try to keep this going for 3+ years when 2 people are watching our show and just expect to, when the fall comes around, I guess I'll just half-ass it. No, fellas, we don't record in June to half-ass the fall. So since when is it okay to shame a man who's got a hobby, a passion that I breathe for? So please, 12 weeks. I get 12 weeks. I get 6 home games where I get to drink Miller Lights Unlimited. Leave me alone. And guess what? I'll quote Josh Pate on this one, and this one just rung to me. They do not own the moral high ground on you when they shame you. This is bullshit. Just because they don't have a passion in football, everybody's got a passion. Don't let them shame you just because this is your one passion. And guys, again, Rease, be taking notes here. She signed up for this one. fellas, Parks, you're going on year 8 with your significant other, JP. I think you're going on. I don't know. You guys been going for a while.
Enough.
There you
Feel
go.
like I have been as well. If she's just finding out in like year 3, year 4 that you've got this crazy passion for football, it's time to look ourselves in the mirror. It's time to look back on you that you've been a casual because you guys have dealt with consecutive 3-win seasons or four straight years of 3-win seasons. And now that you get this 6-win season, oh, I didn't know you had such a passion for this. That is on you for being a half-ass casual fan.
And you
She
have
should
to go
know-
now. You don't
she
get
should- yeah.
whoever that is. You got to go to everything. You have no ground to stand on. Just you have to.
If she's just realizing, shit, I love Eastern Michigan football, but she doesn't know this. I just want to.
The wall.
What happens when they win games and I want to start going again? Buddy, that's on you. You should have been going when there were 12 people in the stands. This is what we do it for. You call yourself a fan, you go to the damn game. Last but not least, this is kind of selective depending on what you guys. I know that I think you both have brought your girlfriends to games. I have as
Yeah,
well.
multiple.
Very
Well,
few.
yeah.
It's my least favorite thing.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say
I
I
feel
don't
like
think
I've
he
been to
has
like
All right.
quite a bit. Yeah.
All right.
We've been
But
quite a
She
bit.
knows it though. She knows I'm the worst person to be around. Like if they lose the whole ride home, I don't want to talk. I don't want
Funny, funny story. You like bring that up. We've been to a couple, like 4 or 5. The last 2
You
Iowa
guys went
State
to
games.
a Iowa State game. That's terrible.
A
Bringer
couple.
too. Done that once.
We're in Kinnick, right? And we're doing this whole thing and we're watching the game. And in the middle of it, it's starting to get a little it's getting frisky because this is like the game Iowa State lost or beat
Yeah.
Iowa, right? And so they're starting to play worse and worse. Then Iowa fumbles on the goal line. And I turn around, I'm like, who the hell is yelling? And I look up and she's standing and screaming at Potabom for fumbling on the goal line. I'm like, very nice. All right. I don't have to worry about being the crazy
Ashton
one. Yeah.
You
It's
fucking
great.
idiot.
Yeah,
That's
I
what,
mean,
that's what we live for.
I just don't want to track them. I don't want to especially this is different for you guys. Actually, it's a great thing to bring up because in Nebraska, there's no booze in the football stadium. You can't drink. You can't buy alcohol. It's probably going to change soon. But like when you go to tailgates, let's say you get popped, that entire 2 or 3 hours spent in the stadium is your come down of not drinking alcohol. So
Parks,
it
we
sets
gotta-
in
we gotta-
headache sets
we
in
gotta-
all these things. And now it's like, all right.
We got to show you how to put a fireball shooter in your underwear.
No, I do.
Crazy.
The amount of people I've
Crazy.
watched be kicked out, like they watch like a hawk in Memorial Stadium. I don't know why, but I've seen hundreds of kids get kicked out each game for trying to pull out
Significant
a
other
shooter.
can
Like,
just
They're
sneak 'em
they're
under the
more
judge,
so
you know?
they're looking at the student section. We're adults now.
Yeah.
They expect better from us. That's when we can do it.
There's
So
a lady near our season ticket seats that is the fireball person every time Iowa scores. Granted, hasn't been a lot
Hell
the
yeah.
last couple years, but every time Iowa scores, she passes out 8. So she's got
mean
a
a
shit
lot.
ton. Don't know where she hides them, but she has them.
I'll tell you
All
this:
right.
the first time I brought her to a
Make sure you
game,
guys
Jake,
know.
45-minute drive home to Omaha, she gets a migraine because it was too loud in the stadium. Well, if you don't like loudness, it probably, and this isn't a shot at her, she just gets migraines if she's loud, but it's probably not the place for you. I'm not going to lie. That's the entire purpose of being there. And it was a night game. Like, it's probably not going to be great. So probably stay away from that one.
okay, and so my last point is I'll go into a story. Like I said, this one's selective. If she doesn't want to go to games with you, I'm not talking all of them, but if like you're like me or Parks, if you go to 5 games a year and she doesn't want to join you, at least for maybe the September kickoff when it's nice outside, might be a time for a change. But that's just my own personal opinion. First one I brought to Kaylin was the Iowa State game in 2021. Probably the
What an
biggest
awful
game.
choice.
Yep.
What an awful choice.
I manned up. After Purdy threw his 9th interception that day. I stood up, said, "We're going." I didn't scream. I didn't yell. I just said, "We're going." She's like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "Yes, this is your first time. I don't want to ruin this experience for you. It's best if we just leave the stadium." So that's what we did. And she's wanted to come back since. So just handle
You're
it.
better than me.
Handle it
You're better than me.
Handle
You're
it
better than me.
selectively if you're going to do
Although
that.
I'd be careful if Louisiana's in town too. Like I'd like pick
Hey,
I
No,
don't know, like not even Ohio. Like I'm talking
Brought her
like
to-
you
hey,
need
brought
to
her to
bring
UNI
like
last
San
year.
Diego. There you
brought
go.
her to
Yeah.
you and I.
Maybe
Should have brought her
having-
to Georgia. Never mind.
Maybe having her around's a nice calming influence on you too, Schaefer. You never know,
It makes
Keep
me
it, keep
behave
it from an
better.
outburst.
It absolutely makes me behave better. I will say that, Reese. I'm on my best behavior. We'll see how long that lasts. Let's move on to the last slide. This is going a little long, but I hope we're all enjoying this. Here are the only exceptions for skipping fall Saturdays. And guys, again, it depends. It depends here. Thank you, Parks, for pulling that up. I could not find a picture of watching the game during that wedding.
You're welcome.
First one, funeral. But this one depends. Like, do you really have to go that bad? You know, if it's
that's tough.
I think Sundays are for death. Sundays are wake days.
No.
Saturdays. Yeah, no, I think that's true, isn't it? I think that's true. Saturdays are wake days, Sundays are funerals.
Well,
I think that sounds right.
Which one's more important? The funeral? Like, are they going to be playing the Red River rivalry like behind the coffin? I mean, what are we talking about?
I said it depends, you know. It depends what kind of it depends. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
I didn't realize it was getting this crude. I should have proofread these slides a little tighter.
Between the four of us, whenever we die, okay, none of our funerals are on a college football Saturday. Deal?
Absolutely. Put it in your will. Put it in your will. All right. Number 2, vacations in November. I'm going to be wary on this. Again, probably don't go during a home game. Vacations plan ahead of time. So this is something you can plan for. I'm just saying sometimes the Bahamas sounds better than Laramie, Wyoming in November. Or, you know, there's a couple of other schools out in the MAC. I'm sorry. You know, the Bahamas sounds better than Akron. It really does. So again, it depends. Does the Bahamas sound better than Athens, Georgia in November against Tennessee? Absolutely fucking not. But this is why I say it depends. Depends what your situation is. Number 3, a work event. Unless you want to get fired, you probably want to go. Which honestly, your job, Texas is coming to town, your job, you tell me which is more important. You tell me which is more important.
I've actually had this happen very recently. I was on a work trip last year, Nebraska, Maryland. Then they announced the games on Peacock. I had to go to a bar that was going to play it. I had to look it up. It was a Nebraska bar in Phoenix. Terrible experience, work travel. If it happens again, I might consider not going.
Yeah. Hey, Parks, I'm proud of you. It takes a big man to choose his job over his passion, you know. And now look at that. You still have your job today because of that decision. I'm proud of you there. We live until next year when that situation comes up again. And last but not least, an event your significant other gives you at least 3 months in advance. No minimums. 3 months in advance. I believe that work event that I had to attend last year, that was planned farther ahead of time. I said, all right, fine.
Can I make a stipulation on this as well? Yeah. Can I make a stipulation? I feel we're all men here, and most of the people watching are men. I think it's like 88% of our audience is men of all time.
Shout out, guys.
We need like 50 reminders as well. So 3 months ahead, and then sprinkle in the reminders. Reminders.
Yeah.
I'm not going to remember.
Keep reminding.
We're only human.
Guess what? Yep. Guess what we're going to be thinking about? God,
here's your morning coffee. By the way, we got that event in 3 months.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Hey, you want to go get a Shamrock Shake tonight? We're almost out. By the way, we have the event in 3 months. See how that works?
Yep. Just work it in. Just work it in.
It's that easy.
I didn't punch it in my calendar. I don't keep a planner, honey.
Because here's the problem. 3 weeks away, you're like, God, we could really make a shot at the conference title here. Fuck, 3 weeks. I got to be there for that Michigan game. Hey, remember, we got that. All right. You gave me the advance. I respect that. I'm going to have to make that sacrifice again, except for weddings. Like I don't care if that's a year in advance. These schedules come out in January. And even then, you know what you're doing when you plan a wedding in September. You know you're taking that risk. You know what you got yourself into. Last but not least, we didn't put this on the slide, but shout out to Walter. You know, a nice golf trip with the boys. That's pretty damn good too, because you guys can go on your golf trip. You get back to the house by 11. We're slamming beers, watching college football all day with the boys. So golf trip in the fall. I do enjoy a good golf day.
It's a good one.
So good one, Walter. I will definitely say that
Walt.
passes. But best believe your son-in-law is not doing it in September. All right. Thank you guys for coming to my TED Talk.
That was good. Very good. W's in the chat. Clap it up in the chat. That was unbelievable. Great presentation. I can't think of a single base that you missed, JP. Did you take anything away from it, or did you live that life anyway?
I knew. I've known this. I'm about this. I've done this. This is in my brain since I was born.
I just can't comprehend, like, being the man, you're probably a part of the initial decision at the wedding, in the wedding process, or at least I was, where you're like, oh, what dates do you guys have open? Right there. If it starts with an O and N, just say no. Just be like, nah. Like, what about August? How about June,
starts with
July?
a
You got
J,
back-to-back months.
You're
Yeah,
in.
it has to, right? Like we're asking for like 13, 14 weeks here. And that's maybe, okay, we'll say 15, 16 now at the playoff, but there's plenty other weeks to go around, I would say.
I will say,
Reese?
yeah. Another exception is week 0. Like, once you guys cross week 0, we get into September, you're dipping into dangerous waters.
Yeah, it absolutely is dangerous waters. Reese, take it as the guy with the newest relationship with a significant other. Did you take some notes down? Did you learn anything?
They're up here in the conscience. We knew it. I mean, I've been giving Rick crap for the last how long, ever since he had that wedding back home. Which obviously, Rick, I was happy to attend. Had a great time. It was a great day. You and Kaylin, great day.
Don't
Had a
lie,
great time on
man.
that dance floor. I'm not Rick. I love you. I love you, Rick.
We love you, Rick.
Don't ever
That
do
shouldn't
that
happen.
again. Don't have a full wedding again.
There you go. Next wedding, Rick.
It was a great time. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go. We got a response in there. This is great. I agree. It was informative.
Shout out, Steve.
Yeah, well, Steve, here's the deal. With March Madness,
That's
it's a
fair.
4-day thing. You got to be taking time off. I mean, that anybody who works a job, like, we all know, we're taking those days off 3 months in advance.
I feel like you don't
Again,
see many
the 3
weddings
months
in
rule.
March either.
Yeah, people
Yeah,
are scared
no,
of the weather.
Weddings isn't like
They should be. That would suck. There's nothing
Yeah.
worse than being at a cold wedding. Like, you can't go outside.
cold
take
weddings. Do you think
pictures.
that's a great point that Schaefer first brought up that I think is undervalued. Like, I don't want to be cold at your wedding.
No.
It's meant for football weather. It's not meant for. They don't
Absolutely
call it
not.
wedding weather. They
Some
call
would
it
say this
football
is why they happen inside.
weather.
I don't think
You don't get
anybody.
cold.
Great point, Jake. I don't think anybody's ever stepped outside in that time frame and went, you know what? It's wedding weather. What a beautiful day to have a wedding. No one's ever said that. They'd be like, damn, it'd be a beautiful day for having a game. What a great game day. That's
It'd be great if I had a hot dog in my hand and a beer in my other hand.
Absolutely. All right. I love that. That was a great presentation, Jake. Fantastic job. We'll get some clips out if you're just if you missed some spots. We'll get some clips out on Twitter. So make sure you hit us with a follow there.
Don't
Let's
worry,
go to the
guys.
last
Yep,
point.
yep. Virtual. We recorded the session. It'll be up in the port. To take notes later. You didn't.
There's
miss-
going to be a
if you
quiz
missed-
next week.
Yep.
Lucky
If
lists are
you,
gonna
if you
come
missed
in.
class today, it'll be up.
Well, we are class. We are a class. We will teach you ball if you don't know it. And now we taught you a little lifestyle in there as well. But let's go to the second point of tonight's episode. We're going to put Rease back on the clock. We don't have an introductory slide to this, and bad graphics guy, I guess.
Here we
But
go.
we do have 5 logos on tap. 4 of them came from me. 1 came from JP. Jake never sent me one. So
Nice.
maybe
Nobody-
Jake's
Jake,
put
way
to
to
the test
listen.
too.
That's
Uh,
fine,
Jake's
Jake.
Jake's
Here
not
we
working
go.
that
It's
hard.
all right. I go above and beyond for the Play the Fight Song show. So, all right, let's go to the first question. Reese, who
Thanks for
is
coming to my TED
this school?
Oh shit.
I
Is
couldn't
this
even tell you where they're
is
at.
this is up? This is Northeastern team, I think.
Correct. It's
Is
up there.
this- Is this New Hampshire?
No, it is not New Hampshire.
When
No,
in
no
doubt-
clock. We're just learning. But
when
you
in-
are up. You're right. It's Northeast School.
When in doubt, just guess Northeast, and you're probably.
If anybody in the comments
Yeah,
knows
close.
it, drop it in there. We'll see if you can beat him to the
Man,
beat
that was
him on
gonna
the
be
clock.
that was gonna be my best guess. This color scheme, that's a bird.
Yeah,
Man,
is in fact
good
a bird,
logo.
Yes, it's a great logo.
it's a
Newer.
blue. It's a dark
Could
blue
be-
bird with a gray beak.
Mhm.
Man, looking to his right.
It's right.
He looks like he's looking out sternly. His lower
If you
beak is a
can't pull
darker
it,
gray
if you
than his
can't
top
pull it,
beak.
we can give JP or Jake an opportunity. Probably Jake first. I would think
Yeah,
JP would know.
I don't even. That's New Hampshire's my only name I can think of.
All right, we're calling it quits on question 1. Jake, do you know who it is?
Is that Merrimack or Monmouth?
Thank you, Jake. Good job.
There you
It
go.
is in fact Monmouth.
Good,
I knew as
good.
soon as I said Merrimack, I go, and no, it's Monmouth.
Wait, Where's Monmouth at?
I believe the city is
Jersey.
West Palm
Jersey?
Branch, New Jersey. Correct. I
I
believe.
would- I
don't
would-
know
but
why
it's
I went
definitely
to
New Jersey.
Hampshire.
But all right, 0-for-1. We need a bounce back here.
Come
Reese,
on,
Logo number 2. Who is this?
Wofford.
Come on.
Hey,
Nice.
come
Bang,
on,
baby.
Reese,
come
That was
on.
quick. He knew
Always
that.
had
That's
it.
a great logo. That's a
Always
great
knew it.
logo. That is the Wofford Terriers.
Up
They are
here.
in the SoCon conference. They do play football. Look them up. Great brand, great logo. They also have a W that you may have seen, and they've made visits to the NCAA tournament.
Quick quiz.
I'm just seeing a. Okay, go ahead.
The other Division I school named the Terriers is.
Well, maybe we should.
No way, it's next. Is it? Okay.
No,
we'll go
it's
next.
not.
What?
It's
don't
not. We
I
Are
don't
you
know.
sure?
Boston.
I don't know.
I can't remember.
Boston.
It is Boston.
It is
Let's
Boston.
go.
But okay, we're good.
I was
We're
going
good.
to guess that just because of the Boston Terriers. That's
I
why
mixed the
feel
two
like
names
I
in my
think of
head.
it.
I didn't write these down. So, but it's yours is last, JP. So the next two I can't remember, but I'll remember once I see the logo. We did
think
have a
Boston
guest
plays
come in from
football.
Steven. Steven, the first one was not Maine. That's a good guess though. But they are the Black Bears. Great
That's
logo.
the
We should
Bears.
have that coming up. All right, next logo, Reese.
for two.
Who is this?
Oh, this is one I should know.
Newer
They good at
logo.
baseball.
No,
think
They're
I've seen-
solid.
I
They're
thought I've
solid.
seen
All
them
right.
in the. Have I seen them in the World Series or like on
No.
the? Or
No.
You've
not
seen
in
them
the
on
World
the
Series,
banner or wraps
on the-
around,
yeah,
but you
yeah,
haven't
yeah,
seen them
Man.
there.
Yeah. That's what I meant.
If you're listening on podcast, this is a purple and gold Wildcat. They're not the Wildcats, but it's a Wildcat that's purple and gold.
we did have a guest come in. It is not Abilene. But
That's
that
the
is a
one.
good
Okay,
guess.
that's
That's
the
on
one
the
I was
right
trying to.
track.
That's the
That's
one I
on
was
the
trying
right
to dig
track.
for. My only guess. That's one I was going to try to dig for. What? And no, don't give me any hints.
Are they in the? No, they're not in the SoCon. Are they? Are they in the SoCon too? Okay, they're in the SoCon. Reese, you just guessed Wofford. Where's Wofford at?
Brother? That helped, brother.
Where's Wofford
know.
at, Reese?
I don't know. Alabama? I don't know.
Isn't it South Carolina or North Carolina? Wofford, South
Are
Carolina.
you asking
I
us?
don't know.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
punting.
asking.
Yeah, I'm not telling
I'm
you
punting.
anything
I don't
until I
know.
get an answer on
I
this.
don't
All right,
know.
we're calling it quits. Jake, do you know it?
It's Western Carolina. Come on now.
That is
I
correct.
wasn't getting that.
Good job, Jake. It is
was
Western
digging for
Carolina,
Abilene.
members of the SoCon. But all right, we're 1 for 2. It's all right. We need a bounce back. We just need to get over 50%. So we
Here
need
we
to get to 50%, close it out with a high one. Yep. Going to the next one. Reese, whose logo or what logo is this?
No,
Easy,
not even
easy,
close.
Easy. They're in the MEAC.
Delaware
Reese,
State.
Come on now. They're
No,
in the MEAC.
it is a state, but we need it's not Delaware State.
It is.
The MEAC.
I
It
can
is a
tell you the
state.
word that becomes before state is not actually a state.
Yeah,
that helps.
That's true. That's true.
Correct. It's actually a
Bismarck
city in
State.
Nebraska.
I don't
No, it's a
know.
city in Nebraska.
Yeah,
Kind
that's
of.
what
You
I
would
was gonna
it
say.
weirdly.
It's a city in Nebraska. That's what I was gonna say.
It's a city in Nebraska state.
This team beat Missouri in the
Kearney
2010
State.
No, keep it's a
They
Nebraska
beat
city. He nailed it.
Missouri in the 2010 March. Was it 2010?
Dakota
2010?
City State.
There's a debate between how to say the name in Nebraska of the town. Home of Northeast Community College, which we played. Where was that at, Reese?
Oh shit! I didn't make that trip. I was sick that weekend. Fuck. Norfolk. Norfolk
And
State.
yes, that is
Yeah,
correct.
there you
Reese,
go.
we got there. We got there with some
Yes.
hints. New
Yes.
rebranded logo, a little modernized. You might have seen their old one back in the NCAA basketball games. Very nice rebrand, in my opinion. Just a little bit brighter, but that is Norfolk State. That is correct. So we got you a hint. We'll give you a half point there, 1.5. And to close it out, this was JP's question. Might be a secondary mark, but it was the best resolution I could find, and the primaries included in the secondary. So JP, take us to the last one. Whose logo is this?
The Patriots. Who the hell are the
Oh,
Patriots?
Beautiful logo.
Got it. Can I go?
I think I should know
Can I
this
go?
one
No,
too.
Jake, just wait. He just saw it.
Do you know?
Not the,
Yeah,
it's
know
the
Jimmy?
Patriots.
I'm the one that put it in.
Not the
Oh,
Minutemen.
And a member of
thought
our
this-
armed forces getting this wrong could be illegal. I'm not sure though.
There's 13 stars on that flag. I didn't fight for this flag yet. Shout out these guys for fighting for this flag so I could fight for this flag, but this flag I didn't know about.
This flag don't mean shit.
It means something. All right. Betsy Ross. He's holding the flag with 13 stars, 13 stripes.
It is a person.
It is
a
a person.
Person
It
wearing
is a
a
person.
hat.
No, the
Probably
name
a
of the
Patriot.
school
The
is
name
a
of-
person.
The name of this, the name of the school is a person, Reese.
Correct.
Oh, George Washington.
No, it's not George
Oh,
Washington.
George Mason?
Other important
No.
person. Keep thinking through
John
important people.
Adams. Sam Adams. James Madison.
That's a
I
beer.
don't even know what did this guy actually do like in our
Andrew
history.
Jackson.
Can somebody inform me what the guy
Come on, man. This is a logo
school-
quiz. Don't make us look dumb on our own show. This is a logo quiz, man. JP maybe
Oh.
can answer that. I think JP, didn't you study history for a little bit in school?
Yeah, what
Yeah.
did said guy do?
I
here,
don't know.
JP?
Yeah.
The one that
Alexander
the
Hamilton.
school
You
is
didn't
named
study
after.
very hard, folks.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not 100%.
It is
sure on
all
that
right.
one.
Reese is
Pull up
not
the
going
old
to get
Google
it.
machine, Jordan.
It is Robert Morris.
Boom. That is correct.
How
It is
is
Robert
that?
Morris. They are the Colonials, newest
Reese
members
is-
of the Northeast Conference, the NEC. So this is Robert Morris. They do play football. The original one JP sent me, we might see later on if we just do a college logos quiz instead of college football, but we wanted to keep you on brand.
Yeah.
This is Robert Morris. Pretty cool uniforms, great logo. I'm really a big fan of the secondary mark that we used.
Here's a question for you guys.
I like this guess from Steven.
Sam Adams. That was a
Sam
great
Adams.
guess.
Great guess.
It looks like
I do have
looks
Big
I
like-
do
beard
have
guy.
the
That beer's
answer
nasty.
as to who Robert Morris is.
Okay, let's hear who Robert
he do?
Morris is.
Yeah, who's Robert?
Robert Morris was known as the financier of the American Revolution.
That was
So he
Alexander
was a rich
Hamilton.
man during
So he
the.
did your finances to help the war.
He was
just
the
a rich man.
finance bro during the revolution. Starbucks in
your
hand.
I
we
guess
love
so.
you, RMU.
That
All right.
all right. What do you got, Jake?
Here's my question.
All right.
Last night I went to the NAIA Women's National Championship where Dort beat Providence University. Where's Providence University located in the
Rhode
NAIA?
Island.
Not that Providence. I
I've
did
never
find
heard
that
of
out.
the
Though.
NAI version of Providence.
Are you
Hmm.
asking
This
us
is-
where Providence, the
this is-
NAIA school is?
This is University of Providence. Come to find out.
I could tell
Providence
you where
College
Dort's
is the
at.
Friars. Providence College is the Friars.
Is it
I don't
Sioux
know.
Senna?
It is not. It's out
I
west.
could probably give you a closer address to the nearest bebops in Des Moines, Iowa, than I could give you a better guess.
And I
here.
hope so. It's right down the road.
It's in Montana, Great Falls, Montana.
Oh, can't say I've been there.
They can recruit. They can recruit girls out there. Apparently,
Hey, it's the third biggest city in Montana. There's 50,000 people that live there.
Beautiful
Never
state.
been.
Beautiful state. So I've heard. I've actually never been there. JP,
Yeah.
you've been there? No, Montana.
In Montana?
Yeah.
Yellowstone.
Oh, you guys were in Wyoming.
Wyoming.
Yeah. But all right, good question, Jake. Where is Robert Morris?
Virginia.
All right.
That's
that it?
that's immediately where I would have guessed. I'm not gonna lie.
Honestly,
Yeah.
off the top of my head, cannot remember where it's at.
I have no idea. No, I was asking you, man. I don't know. I don't know the
Morris College.
cities.
Looking it up.
Guess what? So you won't guess. Providence's college is there.
Is this true? Walter may be right. Maybe it is in Pittsburgh. Robert
That's
Morris in
Duquesne.
Pittsburgh.
Isn't that Duquesne?
Yep, it is Pittsburgh. Yep.
There's more than one school in Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh,
believe it or not,
Pennsylvania.
Jake.
Yeah,
It is
Pittsburgh.
in Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, Pitt is
Yeah.
there. Good call, Jake.
Pitt's in Pittsburgh.
That's why
No,
you listen
but,
to the show.
Did you know
Providence,
Pittsburgh is
Univer-
also in Pennsylvania?
University of Providence. Their team mascot is the
Charlie from It's Always Sunny.
Yeah, wait, no, got that one. It's the how do you say it? The Agars, Agars.
The cigars? Are they
Agars.
Cubans? Oh.
Agars.
Agars?
It's like a Spartan. Agars. Is that how you say that?
Might have to bleep that out.
You guys gotta help me out here.
Pause. Yeah,
The-
no,
the what?
I believe you. man.
Agars?
It may be the Agars.
And like Sammy Hagar.
God, we are.
Guy
We
playing
know
the
college
guitar, I think.
football, people. We know college football. That's why you listen
I
to
think
the
they got a
show.
football
Leave
team.
it, leave it,
Very
leave it
clear.
to Jake to be like, do you know where this random nobody
What?
NAI school
Hey,
is?
we're NAIA folk around here. That's our
They probably didn't
background.
play
Jake,
baseball. I've never.
Shafe, do you
heard
know
of
where
this.
Lewis and Clark is? The NAIA school?
Beat
Home
shit,
of the
Jake. That's what I
NAIA
thought.
World
You wanna
Series.
Play this game?
Oh, the NAIA World Series.
Is that in Louisiana?
No.
No, we just
You're
traveled there
never,
for
I don't
football
think
and
you would
just-
ever guess this, man.
Home of the NAIA World
is a-
Series. They
you're
play.
like,
They
why-
play in this. They play the certain same spot every year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna guess.
What does this kid get?
You're not gonna guess it. It's you
Yeah,
are looking for
you're
the
gonna,
town
you're like,
of.
why in the hell is it there?
You were looking for the town of Lewiston, Idaho.
I was thinking like
You weren't going to say that.
I was
You were
thinking-
gonna guess
I was
Idaho.
thinking trail though. I was
You were
thinking
not going to
trail,
guess Idaho.
You
and I
were
was
not
like,
gonna
well,
You were going to follow
is
the
it east?
trail.
It's east or west. So I was like,
I will not let you for
Montana.
a second claim to say that you were going to say Lewiston, Idaho, of all places.
No,
in the
I
world.
wouldn't have guessed the town, but I was going to throw out a state out there. I was
You
like,
know what? I like that though. Idea for next week. I'm going to throw 5 NAIA logos at you, Jake. So study up.
oh,
Let me show
God,
you
I'm gonna be
5.
so
NAIA
bad.
football is important. We've watched
Dude.
the national title in person.
So bad.
So JP and Rease have been to 2, but we have watched the national title in person. NAIA football. It's pretty good. Check it out. Or the school we went to was very good. But all right, that covers everything that we had tonight. It was a great show. We got a great presentation from Jake. We covered a lot of recent news. We'll probably have more next week because there's a couple things that came up in my mind that we missed. But it's been a good show. Any closing thoughts from the boys? JP, got anything?
No, I feel like I'm battling internet issues over here, so I've been muted most of the time. But
Okay.
I don't have anything else.
Rease, you need a bounce back week coming up with logos.
Yeah.
Are you,
It wasn't my best. I was too busy processing all of Schaefer's lecture that's still working in my brain that I got to get seared in there. But darn, we'll be
I like
back.
that.
We'll be better.
he's just a
Yeah.
better listener, folks. Hey,
If you got a wedding invitation for September sitting on your fridge, I want you to get up right now. I want you to go to the fridge. I want you to take that invitation. You go put that in the trash can. You're not going to be
Yep.
needing that. You're not going to need.
Yep.
You're not going to be needing that date.
But if for some reason you did have to go to the wedding and you're like, man, I really wonder where I can find a great breakdown of the game or a recap of the game, just hit the subscribe button. You're here. We're going to break them down. That's why we watch ball, just in case your woman runs your life and you don't listen to us when we first speak. We'll recap the games for you. But it's been a great episode. We'll see you next week. Same time, same place. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the follow button. Follow on all platforms. Rease, like, comment, subscribe.
Like, comment, subscribe.
I like
Ring
that.
that bell.
Jake, take us home.
Play it.